Hello from Bosnia, more specifically the capital, Sarajevo. A hub of culture and history tucked away in the Balkans. Come with me while I give you a whistle-stop tour of the city. Let's go. So this is an important memorial as part of Bosnia and Sarajevo, as it's the war memorial for World War II, I believe, for all the soldiers who fought and lost their lives fighting for the cause. And it's quite a common theme. I believe this is called the Eternal Fire, but like all across ex-Soviet and Soviet countries, the eternal flames and eternal fires are a common way of memorializing, if that's a word, I'm not sure, memorializing the dead who fought in the Great Wars. So it's a nice touch. Now this small inconspicuous plaque on the side of the now History Museum in Bosnia is actually very important. It signifies the exact location where Gavrilo Princip, a Serb revolutionist, assassinated the then Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austro-Hungarian, which was the main catalyst for World War I. Now, the assassin of Franz Ferdinand was a Serbian revolutionist named Gavrilo Princip. And it actually took place. There was a few assassination attempts before in the day, because Franz Ferdinand came to do a parade in Bosnia, Sarajevo, and there had been previous attempts to bomb the car which had failed, and they'd given up. And Gavrilo Princip went to a cafe, and he was sort of sitting there thinking about the failed attempts, when after the parade, leaving the parade, the driver took a wrong turn, and he turned down a dead end, which is that road. Gavrilo Princip saw them stop to turn around, and he took his chance. He went out front and he shot him with a pistol. And they were unable to get away in the car because when attempting to turn around in the panic, the driver in fact stalled the vehicle. Now this led the Austro-Hungarians to take action with Serbia, which then through numerous alliances and agreements led to the domino effect of everyone jumping in to help each other, causing the conflict of the Great War, World War I. Funnily enough, when I stayed in Belgrade, Serbia, the apartment I stayed in was on Gavrilo Princip Square. So, although he's enemy number one, or he was, in Bosnia and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he's revered as somewhat of a revolutionary icon back in Serbia. So this is one of the, I guess it's like a bazaar. It's actually quite similar to the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, if you've ever been there, but obviously on a much smaller scale. But again, another very Ottoman theme. It's quite nice, especially in the summers, because it gets very hot here, up to about 40 degrees. So you can come in and do your shopping under the cover of the bazaar and keep nice and cool. It's very nice. Like many countries in the Balkans, there is still quite a strong Ottoman influence. So you get that in Skopje, you get that in Sofia, and you get that here in Sarajevo. And we're currently in the Ottoman Quarter now, because for one very important reason. We are here to get the local food known as cevapi, which is like sausage in a pita, and you have other stuff with it. It's very nice. So let's get on to the important stuff. Tell me that doesn't look amazing. So the food in this country is a bit different to the rest of the region, because being predominantly Muslim, all of the food is halal. So when we had the cevapi, it was lamb. Whereas most other countries in the Balkans actually tend to eat pork, and that came about because when the region was under Ottoman control, periodically when the soldiers would come into the local towns and villages, they'd come in and they'd ransack the houses, they'd take all their food. And they do these things on Christmas Day as well, because they know that the people will be celebrating. So what people did was they switched to pork, because being the Ottoman Empire, all its citizens, or the majority of its citizens, and in the army, they were all Muslim. So when they came to ransack the house for food, they couldn't touch the meat, because they weren't allowed to eat it. So that is why most of the Balkans, the main meat is pork. The more you know. So here we are in the main square of the Ottoman quarter, or as I like to refer to it, Pigeon Square, because when I last came here a year ago, it's just full of pigeons and people feeding them and holding them. I've been from the UK, I don't know how people do that, because pigeons are horrible. Rats with wings. Look, here you go. Here you go. Check this out. Pigeon Square. It's chaos. This is all anyone ever does. They chuck food out, they feed them, they hold them. Yeah, not my cup of tea, that's for sure. So here, we're at one of Sarajevo's many mosques. One of the unique things about Bosnia as a whole is that it celebrates its cultural mix. So they enjoy the fact that although it's predominantly Muslim, they have Christians, they have Jews, they have all faiths living here in harmony, side by side. And it's not an uncommon theme that you'll see when walking around the city is you'll have mosques next to churches, next to synagogues, and they'll all be in a similar place together. Very different to many other countries, because lots of places it's very staunchly segregated, but here you don't have that, and it's very nice. So, again, as I said in my previous video, and as I will always say when I'm in the Balkans, you must come here. It's so safe. Very relaxed feeling, very safe, and even better for those of you traveling on a budget, or maybe you're not, maybe you just want to enjoy paying for stuff nice and cheaply, because due to its tourism is definitely growing in Bosnia since the conflict, similar to Kosovo, but it's still not caught up fully in the West. And obviously the West is where all the money is, so lots of tourists means lots of money. So you can sort of come here and enjoy the culture, the cities, the country itself on a very small budget in comparison to the likes of, I don't know, Greece or Turkey, because the prices haven't caught up yet due to the lack of tourism. So it's great. Now, walking around, we came across a tea shop, and although Bosnia is more famous for its coffee, thick black coffee, a bit like Turkish coffee, I asked if they had anything traditional, and they've got a Sarajevan blend spiced tea, that they make here that's unique to Sarajevo, so I thought I'd try. It's very nice. You can taste it's got lots of saffron and cinnamon in it, but it is very nice. Now, this bridge before me is quite a significant point of interest here in Sarajevo, as it was built in the 1500s, I think 1541 I believe. After the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, there was a monument erected, and this was dedicated to the family that was killed. Since then, the monument has come down. I'm not sure whether that's because of the war. I think it might have been destroyed in the war, and now instead it's a national monument. Now, Sarajevo is in a basin. It's surrounded by mountains on all sides, and they're very proud of the mountains here. The mountains actually helped host the Olympics in 1984, I believe, the Winter Olympics, and each mountain surrounding hosted different Olympic sports. Now, just in front of me, I'm not sure how well you can see it, is Mount Trebović. And when I was last here, I went up Mount Trebović. You can get a cable car up. And Mount Trebović is famous for its role it's played in the Olympics, as it hosted the luge, or the bobsleigh. And they actually have the old track still intact up the mountain, and you can actually walk down the track. And lots of people, I myself did that when I was last here, but lots of people also mountain bike, and they bike down the track. You can pick up tremendous speed while doing it. It's very interesting to see. And when we went up, actually, because we came later in the year, about a year ago, and it was thick fog all around, and because it's in a basin, the fog sits really low and you can't actually see the mountains. So when we got the cable car up, we went above the clouds, and then it was separated, and all you could see was a blanket of clouds. I'm not sure if I've got any videos of that, but if I do, I'll put that in here, and I'll also put in of the luge track, because I thought it's quite interesting. Well, I found it quite interesting. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, I found a better view. I'm not sure how clear you can see that, but the column of trees, that's obviously clear, void of trees, is where the cable car travels up. So as I was saying, Sarajevo as a city are very proud of the fact that they've hosted the Olympics. Everywhere you go around the city, all the mountains have different names correlating to the Olympics and the events that they held, and all around the city there are different points where you'll see the Olympic rings, and there's another set of Olympic rings up Mount Trebović, and they have, I can't remember the name, but they have quite a famous mascot, it's famous here obviously in Bosnia, but they had the Olympic mascot, and that's plastered everywhere. You see that on clothes that they sell, and magnets and keychains and stuff like that. So they're definitely very proud of the 1984 Winter Olympics. Another cool thing about being in this region of the world, especially countries that used to be part of the old Austro-Hungarian Empire, sorry, it's a bit loud, is the architecture. The Austro-Hungarian architecture is very pleasing on the eye. It's very nice. Check this out. So this is the main common theme, but then you also have like the Ottoman Quarter and stuff like that. So you've got the Ottoman themed architecture scattered in with that. And then obviously since the war, there's a lot of new building, because obviously they've had to rebuild from the bombing. And then the other thing is, as you go further out of Sarajevo city centre, you then see a lot of the communist influence, and you have all the commie blocks, as you call them, which are not very pleasing on the eye, very brutalistic, but they're cheap and efficient. But I much prefer this bad boy. Very nice. Interesting fact about Sarajevo, you see the tram behind me. Sarajevo was actually the first city in Europe to have a tram. It was only the second country in the world to implement trams into its city transport system. Pretty interesting if you ask me. Now this is something that I quite enjoy. Although I know you can get this in the UK anywhere you go, but I don't have much exposure to it at home. And the only time I really come and see stuff like this is when I'm away. But just all the fresh fruit and veg out to buy is amazing. I love the smell and I love the vibrant colours. It's great. There's a really good one in Budapest. It's like an undercover bazaar thing, and they do all the markets. It's amazing. Okay, on the bus now, heading off. So I think this is a good time to end it here. Congratulations if you've made it. I appreciate you. Drop a like, subscribe, would be great. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.